Hi, welcome back to the show if you're new here. So excited you clicked on today's episode. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about the ovulatory phase in terms of cycle syncing, ways you can change your lifestyle in the way you eat and the way you exercise, the way you go about your day-to-day tasks to make yourself feel better. I'm a huge advocate that our system was not set up for women to feel different every single week. We were very much set up in a man's world that it changes. Actually, we're not going to get into it. We'll get into it in the episode. But if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm really big into cycle syncing. I've been doing it for probably a year and a half. I've seen such a huge difference in my energy levels, in my physical body, in a lot of different ways, and it made me understand myself better. I love to talk about cycle syncing. I love to talk about hormones in general, just the female body, because unfortunately we really weren't taught about our bodies at a very young age, and I think it honestly did us a disservice. During my internship this summer, I had one of my coworkers. I don't even know if she's considered a coworker, but I think she was like a project manager or something. She came up to me during lunch and she was telling me, I listened to your episode about, I think maybe it was the follicular phase. And she was like, I went my entire life not knowing what that was. And I learned so much, even at the age of 40 or 50 or whatever age she was. She just gave me really good feedback and told me that it was very informational. And she was really glad that she clicked on that episode and listened, because even at her age, she was still learning stuff about her body that she didn't know, which is wild to me. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But as always, before we get into the episode, the past 2 episodes have been extremely FaceTime styled. Just me kind of mind dumping my thoughts, no structure, no research, very much just talking about whatever I want. Actually, the last episode I had a really bad anxiety while recording, if you were able to hear it in my tone of voice. But today I'm sitting on the couch, Miso's next to me, post working. I'm really excited. Oh my god, it's already 6 o'clock. I'm really excited to go to bed already. But today's episode, I thought, because the last 2 have been very relaxed, I was going to do a more structured episode about hormones, and that's something I definitely have to research on. And I'm getting my health certification right now, and I definitely think I want to perhaps specialize in hormones, because I find it so interesting and how it affects us a lot, way more than anybody actually mentions. Actually, the updates for this week is I went to Disneyland last night, and I haven't been to Disneyland. Actually, I literally just went to Disneyland for my birthday, probably a month or 2 ago. I went to Disneyland because my little brother had a field trip. It was so much fun. His teacher had some disability pass, so we didn't have to wait in lines, which was really nice. I also tried the cold brew coffee at the Star Wars land. I just didn't get the Cocoa Puffs on top, and that was the best thing ever because of the cold foam. The cold foam is probably just spiked with sugar, and that's why it's so good. I got 2. Me and my mom shared. Well, we shared the first one, and then we realized that they put so much ice in it and it was so good, so we both shared a second one. I also got a pickle. I got gluten-free pasta at one of the restaurants, which actually was decent, and then I also got a caramel apple. So I had a ton of sugar, and what's crazy is I can feel it in my cheeks after. I don't know. I went to the Star Wars land and went on those rides for the first time. I've never done that. It was very interesting, very cool. And then also another update is I'm literally working every single day this week, Monday through Sunday. I went to Disneyland this week, so I guess that was a half day. Yeah, tomorrow for Basket Case, we have our annual sample sale. So I guess that's very intense. A lot of people come. I'm very excited to see it. So I'm going to be out in LA tomorrow for Rio, the physical therapy. They have a content day, so that should only be a couple hours. And then I'm going to do some behind the scenes content, and then also give them some pointers and what I think they could improve. And also for this weekend, I'm hanging out with a new friend, we're not friends. I'm hanging out with a new potential friend. On Sunday, we're taking a workout class and going to get matcha. I met her at the Pilates event, and she seemed really sweet, really cool. Okay, guys, I forgot to tell you. I went to go check out the analytics this week for the podcast, and I hit my 1 year. I just want to say a short thing of everyone who's been listening since the beginning, or honestly, even if this is your first episode listening, I'm so grateful for you. This has been a desire of mine to have a podcast for 3 years, and I finally did it started a year ago, even though it is the most time consuming and maybe not the most rewarding, because I can, it is a harder platform for people to come on. Not everyone listens to podcasts. They are longer, but I'm so proud of myself for doing it. I just want to make information more digestible, more accessible to other people, and I love sharing what I learn with other people, and I can't wait to have interviews on here, and it's just my favorite platform. Truly, I feel so much more connected. I can share so much more on here than on TikTok. It's really taught me time management. It's taught me how to look at analytics and statistics. It's taught me how to market myself. Honestly, put myself out there, even if it doesn't perform well. I'm still being extremely vulnerable. I've talked about things on here that I haven't even talked to my friends about, and that's the beauty. I feel comfortable. I feel this is my safe place. I am doing a audible diary with all of you. I know that I'm going to grow on this podcast every year. I'm not going to be the same person, and my thoughts are going to change. My solutions are going to change. What I'm interested in will change, and this podcast will change. I think what's so amazing is that not only am I going to grow throughout the years, and this podcast, and so will you guys. And so I'll kind of feel like we're growing up together in a way, because I am only 21 years old. I'm going through my 20s post-grad with you, and I think that is so exciting, and I'm just excited to see where this all goes. Thank you for clicking on today's episode. Thank you for listening and being excited with me. I think so much good will come out of this podcast. I will let you guys listen on to the rest of the episode. I have been going my 21 years of life without Notion. I guess, let's say, since high school. So the last past 8 years of my life without using Notion. I honestly heard people talking about it and in different episodes, but I don't know why I've never ever made an account. I guess I just had my systems of doing things, but I discovered Notion this past week. One of my tasks for myself this weekend, I don't know if I'll get to it, is to organize my Notion template. I just downloaded somebody's template of their entire life, and I'm going to customize it to my own life, but I think it's going to make me feel mentally clear and organized. I am such a to-do list and notes app girl that I think this will be way better. And also, I think mainly because, what did I even think about downloading? Oh, I downloaded it for work because for Rio, I manage their entire social media and they had a little template. So I used that to organize his social media, and then I'm going to use it for my own social media. And I was like, oh, I might as well just do it for my entire my entire life. And so I'm super excited to go through that, mainly for finances. I think it'll be a prettier way to look at my finances. 2, for a wish list. I like to shop for things, not necessarily clothes, which is interesting. So there's a lot of random home things that I want, or I don't know, just my running list of things I want to buy. I hate to be that person, but sometimes I am. And I kind of want to make a wish list that tracks how much I'm saving per item, not just buying something randomly. Mainly because I love my home now. I have it semi-organized, but I've noticed that all my stuff is really low, and so I'm not maximizing the space on my walls. The dimensions look off, if that makes sense. Like, I don't have anything on the walls, and I don't have any high lamps, or I don't know if that even makes sense, but basically the dimensions look wrong because everything's on the floor, or my couch is really low. Like, everything's low, and I need to bring some stuff up. I'm excited to get my life together with Notion, organize my finances, my regular to-do list, my calendar, my social media, pretty much everything in my life, and all in one place, which will be very, very nice. Usually I do a low of the week, but I decided to do something I'm working on for this week. I was gonna talk about sleep and listening to my body, but then I realized my house has been a disaster this week, and I am a fairly organized / clean person. Because I'm so busy, like me working literally 7 days this week, I am rushing out the door to go work out. Then I'm rushing to get online to work. Then I'm rushing to my second job. Then I'm rushing to get things done before going to bed. Because I'm constantly rushing everywhere, I leave the place a wreck. And so I really want to make it a point to clean and keep things organized as I go, so the house doesn't get destroyed, because I shouldn't be cleaning my house every single day. That's just so exhausting. And I don't know, maybe I need to wake up earlier and maximize my time in the morning. But here's the thing. I think sleep is one of the number one priorities ever. I don't think we prioritize sleep enough. Sleep helps you recover. Literally, your body rejuvenates while you sleep. So a part of me is thinking, okay, you need to stop doing morning workout classes. It's too intense, or you need to sleep in. Your body's tired. And I want to listen to my body do what it needs to recover. I know sleep is so important for literally everything. But then another part of myself is I'm not being productive. And if I woke up earlier, I would get so much more done. Really in a pickle with myself. And I've talked about this a lot on my social media, mainly TikTok. Yeah, also a blog for the pod. Please share the pod. If you like this episode, please share it with someone, one of your friends on social media. The best way for the pod to get traction is through reviews and 5 stars and sharing it on social platforms. Also, if you follow the Instagram, it's My Perspective Pod. That's where you can stay up to date when episodes are released, and I try to release questionnaires or polls for what episodes you guys want to hear. I want to put out things that you guys want to hear, you know? And then when I eventually do have guests, I'll have guest questions on there too. And then my TikTok's just my name. I'm also on YouTube and Pinterest and literally everything. Also, something I've been doing this week is I've updated my Amazon storefront slowly but surely. I literally I have an Amazon storefront, but I never use it and I never tell people to go on it. So I recently have been trying to update that. I only updated this skincare for non-pore clogging ingredients. Clean? Is it considered clean? Like there's no bad ingredients in it? So if this is your first episode of listening about me talking about hormones, this is my 4th episode. I'm talking about cycle syncing. Actually, this might be the 5th. Basically, I have almost every single episode out about cycle syncing, your menstrual phase, your follicular phase, and your luteal phase. But today I'm going to be talking about the ovulatory phase, and that is the one right down smack in the middle. I don't really know why I've been putting off this episode. I think it's just not super sexy for me to talk about. But if you go back to this other episodes, you'll learn more about all the different phases. I do want to do another episode, like another one-on-one about your hormones and cycle syncing, maybe even breaking it down even easier for just the average person, like I did for how to be healthier in the new year. But maybe I'll do that for hormones and not necessarily cycle syncing, but just things that are good for your hormones, you know? Maybe that'll be in the works this year. Also, the podcast is officially going to be released on Mondays. I'm going to try to hold myself accountable to Mondays as much as I can. If not Mondays, Wednesdays. That's why I'm recording on a Friday night. Hopefully it gets out by Monday. Oh my God, something I wanted to talk about. Okay, this might be so weird to talk about. I just have so many updates for you guys. So recently I don't even know if inspired by content, but I started following this girl on TikTok and I absolutely adore her content. Her name is Connor Bobcat, I think, or something similar to that. And one, I love her name. I think it's so cool. She has a dude name, or like usually a dude name. I love that for girls. Like I want to name my girl like Mason or something. Like I love when girls have guy names. But besides the point. Okay, she's nothing like me. That's what I think I like, is I like watching someone who's nothing like me, but also is comforting, and she's very entertaining. Like she's not necessarily teaching so much, she's more just entertaining, and she's relatable. So recently I've been following her and I love her content, and she has a YouTube channel. I haven't watched a YouTube channel or YouTube episode in years, and when she said she just released an episode, I was like, oh my God, I have to go watch it. What's crazy is I don't know how long her episode was, maybe 10 minutes. I didn't once get distracted, and when I'm on TikTok I get distracted every 5 minutes, or if I'm watching TV. So the fact that she kept me entertained and locked in for 10-15 minutes straight was just wild. And I actually started a YouTube channel when I was in middle school, and I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I even vlogged when I was in high school, and then my mom's computer broke and I stopped my sophomore year, and I really wish I kept going with it. A goal for myself, maybe like the end of this year or something, is to buy a vlog camera. That's like one of my things on my wish list to save up for, because they're literally $800. That's ridiculous. And unfortunately I sold my vlog camera 2 years ago. Why did I do that? Because I never thought I was going to get back into YouTube, but I love long form content, as this podcast is basically the longest platform you can get as social media. It's an hour, and eventually one day I will have it fully recorded. I did TikTok live it last week, and that was so scary. I want to save up for a vlog camera and start vlogging again. I don't care if 50 people watch it. I literally don't care. I love editing YouTube videos, and I love looking back on all my old videos as I get older. So I think that's definitely a social media platform I want to add back in to my life. It is more of a time commitment, just as I spend 5 hours a week, an hour recording, an hour planning for this podcast. It's pretty much the same for YouTube. And what I've loved about her content, she uses the clips and posts it on TikTok. Who would have thought you could do that? But basically, she's my favorite content creator at the moment. This might be so weird to like talk about someone like that. I can't wait for her next YouTube video, you know? And she's inspired me that I need to get back into YouTube. You know, I'm going full force on this influencer thing, even though I'm literally have 2 other jobs. A girl can dream. Alrighty, so as you've known from more informational episodes I've had, my episodes get pretty into the nooks and crannies of research and not even analytics, but like facts and stuff. And so just hold your horses. This is not necessarily a chit chat episode. This is more informational and for you to apply to your life. I do a lot of the things that we're talking about since I cycle sync, and I'm not rigid with myself, but I am mindful, mainly with my food and my exercise. This is all about the ovulatory phase. Just reminder. The ovulatory phase happens roughly on day 14 to 28 of your cycle. Cycle syncing, I believe you can only do when you're on non-hormonal birth control or no birth control at all. If you are on a hormonal birth control, you're not actually having a normal cycle because you're getting supplemented the same hormones every single day. When you take the placebo pills, it's just sugar pills, or if you don't take them, it's not a legit menstrual cycle, because you might not be ovulating. So I just want to put that out there. There is a way to help your hormones when you're on birth control and etc. And I will talk about how to support your hormones in this episode. But when I talk about cycle syncing, maybe you want to do it right before getting off the pill to just get yourself going. If you have no plan to get off birth control and you're doing all this, just make it more simple for yourself. Don't be too crazy because it's not the same. I just want to do a little disclaimer there. The ovulatory phase is when your body releases an egg, and that is the only time, from what I know, that you can get pregnant, which is so crazy to me that so many people get pregnant on accident, because the time frame that you can actually get pregnant is so small, especially the people who are on birth control. Okay, you're on birth control and you got pregnant. That's wild. It just lined up the right timing. There's a couple key hormones. There is the luteinizing hormone called LH and estrogen. And estrogen play into your body's potential of having a baby. TMI, but there's some obvious signs, including your cervical mucus and subtle changes in your basal body temperature, and also like pelvic discomfort when you're in this phase. What I love is I have the Aura ring, so it actually tests my body temperature every single day, and it will estimate when I'll have my period and etc. Something that's really been helpful is syncing my diet with my cycle. Syncing your diet with your menstrual cycle simplifies your nutrition approach. It's like customizing your food to match your body's changing needs during each phase of the month. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach of do the keto diet, do the Mediterranean diet, or whatever other diet is trending at the time, it's telling you that there's an adaptable approach that optimizes your nutrition by aligning it with your hormonal fluctuations. I really loved the nutrition part, but also really important for you to try to challenge yourself to change the way you eat for your cycle. You're changing small habits. During your ovulatory phase, you want to incorporate nutrients rich in vegetables like asparagus, Brussels sprouts, scallions, spinach. Other nutrient-rich foods to incorporate are lentils, chickpeas, quinoa, and then some other protein sources are fish, eggs, shrimp. You can go on Pinterest and look up ovulatory food phases or cycle syncing, and you can just print a PDF that has all the foods to eat in different phases. And what I do is I have a list on a notes app of every single food to get per phase. So I look up the ovulatory phase, and then my grocery list comes up, and I'll add a couple extra things that I just need. And I'll go through the list at the grocery store and pick up maybe 3 types of foods per category. So fruits, vegetables, legumes, protein, and then I'll also buy whatever I usually buy. And this makes sure that the majority of the food I buy is supporting my hormones. I don't think it needs to be super complicating. That's why I created a shopping list. If it says to buy oranges, I'll buy 2 oranges. If it says to buy chicken, I'll buy ground chicken to put in my pasta that night. You don't need to start this crazy diet telling yourself you can't have this or that, but instead you're just incorporating more of what you know is going to support your hormones. And the craziest part is, especially for like my luteal phase, if I eat exactly what it tells me to eat, my period feels so much better. And I know that each phase, whatever I'm eating is always supporting myself to feel better, have better energy levels, not experience symptoms like acne or fatigue. And so this is why I really like this method. Another thing is synchronizing your exercise as well to match where you are in your cycle. Going back to the food, you're focusing on foods rich in folate and iron to support your body's changing requirements. And a lot of this helps you digest estrogen better, because usually in the ovulatory phase, you'll have high estrogen. Foods that I already listed off help your body metabolize them better. And then another thing that I love to do is to change my exercise for my phase. So during this phase, it's recommended to do more cardio-based workouts or HIIT workouts. It's more moderate intensity. For myself, I am not a huge proponent of high intensity and high impact, mainly because I know I struggle with hormonal imbalances. And if you struggle with hormonal imbalances, you don't want to do anything too strenuous for more than 30 minutes because it'll send your body into the fight or flight. So for a very long time, I only did 30-minute workouts, more yoga and Pilates based, as I felt my period was getting more regular than I incorporated more HIIT and spin and running. And so during my ovulatory phase, I will go on ClassPass and click the HIIT button. I'll do boot camp classes that I know are a bit more HIIT versus weight training. And then I'll obviously do the occasional spin, an occasional run class, or even a yoga sculpt class. I think is more high intensity than actual yoga. And so I really don't like to do yoga sculpt if it's not my HIIT or if it's not my follicular ovulatory phase. And I just think it's a little bit too much pressure on my body, and I'll actually start to retain water retention if I don't stick with my workouts. And that's mainly because, actually, I don't really know why that is, but basically I know for a fact that you'll gain more water weight if you're doing super high intensity and high impact workouts during your luteal phase and on your period. To mention, your ovulatory phase is a very short period. I'm basically doing maybe 1 HIIT class a month or 2 or 3 spin classes a month. Like, it's compared to the majority of my workouts, it's not that intense. Another part about cycle syncing is you can actually cycle sync your entire life, which is very interesting and something I don't do enough. From what I understand, you can leverage your hormones for your productivity. So your productivity lies in recognizing and harnessing the strength embodied within different menstrual cycle phases. The conventional one-size-fits-all approach to your daily routine is really challenged by the women's 28-day hormonal clock, not the 24-hour circadian cycle. If you've ever felt like, oh my God, going to a 9 to 5 every day, I'm exhausted. Some days I'm doing really great, some days not doing so great, or you go to a workout class and it's harder than normal, that's because of your hormones. That's because our society was built around a men's clock, and they reset every single day. They have, I'm pretty sure, like the most peak in their cortisol or one of their hormones in the morning. So that's why we start work in the morning. It slowly dips throughout the day. But for women's, we literally reset every single week a different way. It doesn't fully reset for a whole month. And so obviously we're not going to feel good every single day, or we're just going to feel a little different. And that's why it's so important to switch up your food, switch up your exercise, and switch up your daily habits. And another thing that I've realized is by switching up my workouts, at least, I've seen such a huge progress in my workout routine. One, I don't get hard on myself for not being able to finish a workout workout class as well as I did the last week because I'm focusing more on what's good for my body. And then 2, your body doesn't plateau because you're always switching up your workouts. You're never doing the same thing every single day. I guess it's considered cross training. For instance, in my follicular phase, I'm doing more cardio-based workouts. In my ovulatory phase, I'm doing more HIIT, and I guess that's kind of similar to cardio. In the first half of my luteal phase, I'm doing more strength training. In my last half, I'm doing Pilates and yoga. My menstrual phase, I'm doing walking and yoga. So I'm never doing the same thing every single day for weeks at a time, meaning my body will never get used to the workouts I'm doing, and I'm always working out different muscle groups. But going back to the circadian clock and the women's clock. So adjusting your activities based on your hormonal strengths during each cycle phase will lead you to have more efficient work routines, minimize your stress, and maximize your effectiveness. This understanding becomes a tool for you to better your day and your weeks and your months, and allowing yourself to navigate with your natural rhythm. Okay, I have a couple steps for you to actually implement cycle syncing. As we already talked about, I think step number 1 is to start with diet or exercise. I personally started with exercise and then I incorporated to diet, as I thought diet was a little bit more challenging than exercise. I also think that the exercise portion is really fun. I like doing different workout classes. I like challenging my body in different ways. And I also like feeling better after a workout. I don't like feeling like that was really hard and I don't know why I did that. Second is to respect your feminine energy. I think a lot of people have been talking about the feminine energy because we're very much in a masculine world. But I think it's less about the things that you're materialistic things or things that you're doing and more acknowledging the natural shifts in your energy and your focus throughout different times of the month. Notice that these changes aren't a negative thing. They're actually there to help you and guide you into a better way. And then thirdly is to embody cycle syncing if you can. I think cycle syncing has been the number 1 biohack that I've tried. It has aligned with my daily activities, everything that I do. This approach has really helped me reach my goals without feeling burnt out, without harming my hormones, and just making myself feel more aligned. I don't know, I feel literally 100 times better. Okay guys, I didn't love all the notes that I took. We're gonna go through this again really quick. I think cycle syncing and being more aligned with your hormones in your body is made for busy people that are working on themselves, have families, trying to have fun. It's not a super rigid diet that you have to follow to the T. It's really honestly listening to your body. I think you just have to give yourself time to thinking about this new way of eating, thinking, exercising, because it won't be second nature right away. But I promise you it won't take long. Like, I already know my ovulatory phase is for HIIT workouts. It's for more strenuous, and I know that I'm more social on this side. And also, you do want to have more sex. That's when you get pregnant, so it's kind of goes hand in hand. Another thing with the ovulatory phase is the ovulatory phase makes you more social. So going to group workout classes is really great. Talk about your visions, collaborate with your coworkers, connect with other people. I think this is the best time to go out to dinner with your partner, go out to the bars with your friends, meet people. Like, I'm gonna be so social this weekend. For instance, I have a huge work event tomorrow, and then I have a content shoot on Sunday, and then I'm hanging out with a potential new friend. So I'm going to be very social around a lot of people, and it could not have fallen on a better day. And I'm so excited because sometimes I'm this busy on my menstrual phase and I am exhausted. So it's really nice that it's aligning I can't control it, but it is nice that it's aligning with my schedule. And then let's just talk a little bit about just in general. Each phase of your hormone cycle, a phase is usually about a 1 week in length, give or so, and it's perfect for scheduling your workout classes, your grocery runs, because it correlates with about a week. So every week I go to the grocery store and I have a new set of proteins, veggies, fruits to get. Honestly, just start with one thing at a time. Don't go crazy and change your entire pantry. Just start with one thing. Maybe you add one more protein than you usually buy or one more vegetable. And I think that one change will make a huge difference over time. A lot of symptoms that you experience could rightfully be from hormonal imbalances. A question you might be asking yourself is, do I always have to eat with my cycle? No. You don't. And I don't. I literally went to Disneyland yesterday and I had pasta, I had a pickle, I had 2 coffees. I never drank coffee. A caramel apple. Literally, I did not eat with my cycle. That's because a diet usually tells you have to eat this way every single day for the rest of your life if you want to keep the weight off. And that's not this. This is not to lose weight. This is to make yourself feel better and have less symptoms. I think it's because adding in one more veggie or one more protein source can really help your health for the better. I think having a guide or a list with you going to the farmer's market, going to the grocery store will help you buy in alignment with your cycle and feel amazing in no time. You can add in foods from all different phases for whatever is in season as well. But I think that as long as the majority of your foods are supporting yourself and you feel good eating them, that's all that matters. You don't have to be rigid. It's just a simple switch to help yourself. Another question you might be asking yourself is, what if your cycle's off? The majority of women, their cycle is too long or too short. Personally, my cycle is usually almost always late, 40 days plus, which I've been trying to keep down for over a year now. Actually, my most recent period was around 33 days, and I was so happy. That was finally normal. That only happens every once in a while. I noticed the biggest difference in my cycle when I'm doing all of this. And when I'm not, I notice a huge difference. When my cycle is over 40 days, it's usually because I was staying up late, maybe I was drinking, or I was doing the wrong workouts, or not eating the right foods. Like, I noticed such a big difference. I think the best way to start is to start the day of your period so that you know what day you're on. Or for the ovulatory phase, you can actually buy ovulatory strips, pee on them, kind of like a pregnancy test, and it'll tell you if you're ovulating or not. And that's also a good way to know when to start. Honestly, this whole thing is really just a tool for you to feel better and get started on another slight of a health journey. I think this is more of a specific health journey that someone can go on. Seriously, it's one of the best things I've ever done, and I think I'll do something like this for the rest of my life because I feel so good doing it. And I don't think it's rigid. I don't think it's telling myself what I can and can't do. I think it's more of incorporating and just feeling better in my body. It makes so much sense. Our bodies are ever changing. I don't think that one diet, one exercise is going to change how I feel. So I think it's incorporating a little bit of everything, and it's a lot nicer to hear that I don't need to stick to this exact workout class or this exact meal plan. I'm ever changing, and so is my lifestyle, and I can switch things up as I go, you know? We don't have to stick to one thing for the rest of our life. Even changing our mind, we can always change our mind. If you guys have any questions on hormones or cycle syncing, my DMs are always open. I love to talk about them. I also might compile all the questions and do a questionnaire episode just because I do like talking and I think I can get all my thoughts out versus texting. I hope this was digestible enough to understand. I highly recommend going into the other episodes and learning about all the phases. This phase is very social, very high intensity. You're just feeling yourself. I'm so tired right now, so it's not like my voice correlates with what I'm talking about. You get the point. I'm glad this is a shorter episode because my recent episodes have been so long. But guys, I'm so excited for this year. Like, I still feel like this is going to be such a good year for my health, for my business, my social media, for my dog. Like, literally every aspect of my life, I just feel is going to flourish this year. And I want everybody else to do it with me. And I'm not giving up. I'm really putting everything, all my time and energy into this stuff. And so I'm so happy you guys are here. I'm so glad that you're listening. Please, please, please share the podcast with a friend. Give it 5 stars. Follow me on social media so you can keep up with it. And send me episode requests. Send me questions whenever you want. I'm always there. I hope you guys have a great week. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.